Welcome back to Knack Masterpiece. Chapter 2-1, the adventure begins. And yes, audience, there will be some donkey memes in here because, well, we can't make a Knack playthrough without those, can we?
Donkey.
Video game donkey.
Oh yeah.
Basic joke, but the main theory people have is that the reason we got a sequel at all is because of donkey memes.
Oh yeah, donkey. Well,
It is the first thing Pedro mentioned, the bugs.
Yeah, the bugs.
Now you think bugs would be,
that is
an easy move to start off with because, well, they're bugs, but look at how much health just one hit from one of those bugs gave to Knack.
Easy mode.
Couple this with the fact that you don't have long-range attacks, you have to, put yourself in danger to hurt them. You can probably see, and now we have 2 of them.
I'm just gonna say this right now.
3, actually.
The only time bugs should be this much of a threat is in something like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, or an Ant-Man video game.
You can probably, there you go. I was trying to use the jump attack to, try to have as risk-free as possible, and yet the explosion still...
The key to all
one more hit and I'm dead, by the way.
Knock, everyone! The key to humanity can barely fight bugs.
Exactly. This is another problem right here. Knack, who's supposed to be our... Okay, it's 2 things. One, Knack is as delicate as can be, as Victor pointed out in part 1. And second, another problem with Knack is that he has 0, not even little, he has 0 personality. Whatever. He only does whatever the humans tell him to do. That's it. He doesn't. He's our supposed main character. Nope. Our main character. Neither of the 2 games does he do any of that to. Our supposed main character barely even counts as a character.
Hell, he can't even talk unless he's big enough. I mean, okay, maybe he could talk, but he never does when he's this size.
Yeah,
and they never explain why.
Right. In between parts, I finally finished Knack 2, and yeah, the game, none of the 2 games ever specifically state that little Knack cannot talk. I only started noticing that he doesn't talk when Jova pointed it out in the last part, because I actually never noticed it myself.
It's like,
so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Knack is so bland that I don't even notice. It makes no difference whether he talks to me or not.
And that's a shame because he's quite possibly the best character in this game aside from Josh Keaton.
He is?
Because all the other characters are so freaking stupid.
But that's the thing, Joe. But the only reason he's not stupid because he doesn't have a character.
I know.
Stupid if you don't have a character.
I know. That's why I said that it's a sad thing that aside from Josh Keaton's character, he's the best character in this game despite all his shortcomings. That's not a good thing.
Not at all. So yeah, as the doctor said at the beginning of this part, be careful, Knack. These beasts will pose great danger, or whatever he said. He means that. Trust me. Because like me and Terry have said before, yeah, and I've got some new parts, so now my life bar has increased, so as you can probably guess, okay, maybe I'm better now, right? With my longer life bar. Maybe not. But no, the problem is that, as we've explained in the previous part, the enemies scale up with you, which means now we're no longer fighting bugs, now we're fighting goblins. So we're back to being dead in 3 hits. And keep in mind, everybody, I'm playing the game on easy mode. If I was playing on normal or even hard mode, see, there you go. If I was playing on normal or even hard mode, I'd be dead by this point.
And to completionist, if you want to get the platinum of this game, there are trophies tied to normal, hard, and very hard difficulties. Enjoy.
How dare
that's another interesting thing. The very hard difficulty apparently has to be unlocked because I never saw it when I picked the difficulty. So I'm guessing they had to complete the game in hard to unlock it or something.
Probably.
Fuck that. So yeah, we're fighting all the goblins and try to see if... For those who forgot, we're trying to... Plot-wise, we're trying to find the... a goblin village so we can try to, figure out where they took the technology that we stole and shit like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's a war going on between humans and goblins.
Let's just say, everybody, you're probably wondering, why are the goblins and humans at war? Believe it or not, we will not get an explanation until the 2nd game comes along. Hell, the game later on will even mention lore called the Crystal Wars. Or even was in the 2nd game. Mark, Mark, if your plot revolves around a lore that happened in the past, you need to explain that lore.
I'm sorry.
Also,
This is
gotta love how the humans are technically modern times humans and with robots and all these equipment, but the goblins are still using medieval weapons like
Agitail, the game will explain that, believe it or not. That's actually one of the few things that this game actually explains, and it will even be even more expanded upon in the sequel.
You know, I'm just gonna say, this game really screws around with the whole gameplay and story segregation aspect, because, okay, for one thing, it's sad when the story actually acknowledges how fragile Knack is, to the point where Victor even says he seems a little delicate. Yeah, he is delicate, yet he's supposedly the key to all of this. Like, seriously though, what suggests that he's the key to all of this in gameplay? For comparison's sake, with Kingdom Hearts, when you actually got the Keyblade, which was this untold weapon of ultimate power, for the first time you wielded it, yeah, it was pretty slick and awesome. Like, seriously, give Knack some actual amazing stuff to do in this game.
You
Not
will.
just that, like, it's the bare minimum of giving me a normal standard elf power, making it feel like it's an actual threat for the goblins, not the other way around.
We'll only be a threat to the goblins in specific moments where the game intentionally gives us relics so we can become huge, and then we could just basically blast through the entire level. It's just kind of. I think the game would be a lot stronger if it was one of those. This also applies to the sequel. I think these games would be a lot stronger if the more skilled we get, the more relics you get, and the bigger we get. That would be a nice way to.
Yeah.
You know.
And for those wondering
but
about... Oh, go on.
Unfortunately for this particular game, you're only as big as the game.
Charming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're only as big as the game allows you to, because
The relic collecting is very situational.
it's incredibly situational. To give you an idea too, even if you have like the bare minimum of relics by the end of chapter 2-4, the cutscene will just give you a shit ton of relics so you can be big for the story sequence anyway. So
Scripted,
so collecting relics is kind of just
a scripted event.
Well,
The game
not so much
decides-
script.
The
I
game
mean,
decides
there
how
are...
big or small you are, basically.
It's not so much script. I mean, you can technically choose whether or not you want to pick stuff up, but let's be honest, you want to pick stuff up so that you don't die. The problem is that, again, even if you do decide to do things your way, the game will adapt so that, oh, you wanted to do things your way? Well, hey, here's something that still makes you die in 3 hits, so it's almost as if you didn't even change.
So, Duez, what do you think of Crash Bandicoot PS4?
I actually quite enjoy it. There's all sorts of games that we could do. I actually really like
I mean this one, not the Insane
Remember,
Hey,
Dweebs, this was supposed to be our Crash Bandicoot.
Hey Dweebs, but do you actually know that it contains 3 games? Because I think the game didn't tell you well enough for that.
Yeah. 3 great games.
Okay, okay, what time are you guys at, by the way? My video buffered.
8:16, go to 9.
Yeah, I got a 9.
Alright.
Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. It was just Knack saying, by the way, Doctor, the passage is for here, and I got a trophy.
How nice.
Chapter 2-2.
I'm now at 9 minutes.
Alright, 30 seconds from now. Pedro, chat for a second.
Oh. What is it? Oh, okay. Well, at this point, do you guys want to keep going? I don't know.
Sure, if she's okay with it.
They found a lot of them back in the day.
Sure, whatever,
Mine
I'm
is
fine.
nearly completely tapped out now.
Alright, anyway, the point is, we're traveling through the mine, and now we're fighting laser butterflies?
Did you pass 9 minutes?
I think they're ladybugs.
Oh, sorry, Jova, I missed it because of the chat, sorry. Go to 9:30. Sorry about that. Don't worry, you're not missing anything, just butterflies.
Oh, I know, yes, the deadly
Actually,
butterflies.
yeah, I think
Anyway,
we're
I'm at
ladybugs.
9:30.
Okay, fine, whatever. Unimpressive enemies.
Bugs or whatever it
Bugs.
is.
Knack, pick up that old drill.
Alright, Jova, get ready in
Drill.
3, 2, 1, click.
Pedro, chat.
What is it now? Oh, that. Tell her to wait if you don't mind, because at this point we might as well just try to get this part done.
That's actually an interesting thing, the fact that these mechanical bugs are also part of the supposed ancient civilization.
Hey guys, guess what? We're slightly bigger now, but we have bigger goblins to deal with.
With armor, charming.
Was that supposed to be a boss or an elite mook? You decide.
Probably.
Well, I know what it
that?
was supposed to be. See, here's the thing, Tio. You wouldn't be able to tell what's a boss sometimes. Okay, the only way you can tell what's a boss is it has a cutscene. The bosses are pretty much
Do
as...
they have health bars?
No.
No.
Oh.
Let me put it like this. This game suffers a bit from Arkham Asylum boss syndrome, in that the bosses are pretty much like the mooks.
The weak point of the game.
Well, not so much that, it's that the bosses for the most part are pretty much like mooks. I mean, heck, you fight goblins here, you'll fight a goblin as a boss. Heck, you know, in Knack 2, there's actually a point where you actually just
Some
fight
reason,
two elite
relics are
mooks as
always
a
found
boss
in
fight.
buildings like this.
Charlotte.
But isn't even a building. There's no door. No one human ever lived there.
How do you know?
Yeah. Spoilers. We never spoilers.
All these
We never-
questions and more will never be answered.
Actually, that will be answered
This one
in the
actually
sequel.
will be answered, yeah, in the sequel.
In the sequel.
Good lord.
Still, this feels in the category of ancient civilization who did whatever the fuck they wanted because for the laws. At least the precursors in Jack and Daxter had a reason for doing all their weird shit.
Didn't Mark Cerny also help with those games?
Mark, yes, he was a designer and programmer for Jack 2.
What the heck happened to him with this game?
Jack 3 probably because he wasn't, as far as I'm concerned, he
worked on
wasn't
Jack
involved
3?
in that. No, that's precisely what I'm saying. Apparently he wasn't involved in that, and it kind of shows because the twist they give to the precursors in that game is so ingenious. It still makes me laugh to this day.
I get that Mark Cerny may not have been the best story writer, but god dang, is this a fall from grace?
So the goblins are having tanks now, but they're so idiot they didn't even bother to check a bridge. Fantastic.
Well, here's the thing, Teo. For Jack and Daxter, he was just for Jack 1, he was only a programmer. For Jack 2, he was a programmer and designer. He didn't do any writing.
So you're probably wondering, Tio, why did that train fall?
Believe it or not, basically, Teo, from what I'm seeing here, this is his first time writing.
Well, I'm not
his
surprised.
Oh.
Mark, you're a great programmer, you're a great designer. Please leave writing to someone who actually knows.
Did he program this game as well, though?
He's a director.
You know what's sad is that this is making me doubt his other video game skills. Like this one.
It even says here in the credits, written and directed by Mark Cerny.
Dude, what happened to you? I mean,
But
seriously.
yeah, Jov, I actually understand why those tanks fell because the goblins were so stupid they didn't even bother to check the bridge.
Oh no!
yeah,
That's not all, Tio. The real reason is.
So yeah, the game decided now we should be big enough, so now we were able to take down those yellow goblins with ease.
Precisely. Basically, Tio, the train is based.
You see, this is the part where the game decides you can be badass now.
Basically,
Why not have it like the more enemies you beat, the stronger you get, but if you get hit too many times, you go back down to small Knack and you have to build your way back up again.
you have to build.
You're having dangerous spots. I don't have
Not
to
just
kill
that,
you, right?
Waves. A system like that is good on paper, but needs to be balanced in case the player may find in situations they cannot replenish it because they're swarmed by way too big enemies.
You know. Actually, now
I
that you
honestly think Knack 2 find the right balance in a sense of the fact that you regain health, but after a while, and if you manage to avoid enemy attacks.
Okay.
Oh, trust me, Teo. Believe it or not, the villain of Knack 2 is even more cartoonish than Victor.
Well, I was speaking about the gameplay, not the story, but yeah.
Oh, sure.
Anyway.
Although the gameplay, don't get me wrong, the gameplay, the sequel is much better than this one, if anything, because at the very least, it's like I said before. Congratulations, Mark. Knack 2 is not a complete embarrassment that feels like it was made by an amateur.
Anyway, you were saying, Jova?
The problem
Right,
is that it's still not very good compared to other games. Go ahead, Joe.
Right, going back to about the train earlier, you see, Tio, the train was conveniently carrying the artifacts that allow Knack to become big. Not only did they have the train come down so that we'd have an excuse to have a mook rush, but also an excuse to make Knack bigger. See, You know, this is a real big problem with this story here. It is so blatant that it is contrived to match everything to the point where stuff that makes no sense literally happens just so that Knack can be bigger or smaller for a later scene.
Like this. Right on cue, Jova.
Just a sec, Doc.
Oh,
I'll get the lights on for you.
So yeah, basically we have to power the generators, but for that we need relics, which means that we have to sacrifice all that hard-earned power and health, so we can move on with the game. And trust me, this will happen a lot. The game, basically, what happened here is Mark decided, okay, you know what? All that time of being a badass, that was enough. Now go back to being a puny, pathetic.
You're grounded.
Yeah, you're grounded.
Get your room.
Power up room. All right, the RNG power up.
This time we got
Bridget Spinner.
a time delator part.
Time dilator.
Dilator.
Time slows down when Knack hits enemies, blah blah blah. Cannot be equipped at the same time as the combo. Whatever. I'm not even gonna equip this thing, so.
Because you haven't got all the pieces.
Teo, I had to play until chapter 12 to actually finally get one
There are
gadget
12
complete.
chapters in this game. Oh,
Actually,
God.
there are. Well, actually, was it 12 or was it 11? Until like the climax, basically. I don't remember the exact chapter. It's been a while. Anyway, yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, this is another thing. Whenever you're about to do the final hit on the final enemy of a certain area, that it gives a cool slowdown.
I seen this in other hack and slash beat 'em up games, so it's nothing new.
Sure. I really hate those traps, by the way, because it's just one of those things where they're not even challenging, they're just annoying.
Yeah, they seem also impractical because they seem to be designed against humans, but they fire in a way that should be completely harmless to human beings.
And they vanish right after they hit. Okay, that's awesome.
Because I need those not too many models on screen. So,
By the way, Tio, what you and Bruce were saying, though, that's actually another good segue for me. Let's talk about Knack himself. Okay, story-wise, he's literally a living magnet that attracts relics here and there. So, when he gets hit, somehow that kills him. Here's the problem, though.
yeah, I think we already covered this, but yeah, the fact that he doesn't recover the lost relic, so which
Hold on,
means that he
I'm
doesn't
gonna have
sequel.
to
Not
interrupt
just
you there,
that, but
Teo,
I'll
'cause
talk more about after this cutscene.
This cutscene is actually important.
All right.
Sorta.
You know,
I mean important by this game standards.
All right.
Let's
The
just-
backstory of the dog.
So it's not important then.
No, trust
It
me,
explains how he
Dwiz.
found Knack and where Knack came from.
with nothing on top. But once, oh, this was about 20 years ago now, I found a cave that was different. It is said that these places were once alive, that the relics flocked like birds within them. But no one in generations had ever seen it so.
Also, that's supposed to be the young doctor, I guess.
Yep.
Yes.
On the pedestal was
Don't
a
worry,
glowing
Teo. His
orb,
character model in the
and
sequel is much
around it
better.
spun a constellation of gold,
Not just that,
red, and blue.
I'll say more later.
I held out my hand. I don't know why, and the orb came to me.
It was
Okay.
destiny. It was destiny.
Many years to
Help
unlock
me,
the
help
secret
me,
of the
Doctor,
orb and
whatever.
strengthen
You're
its
my only
power
hope.
100
Dr.
times.
Vargas. Dr.
At
Vargas.
last,
Alright,
solved
Dr.
the
Angry
puzzle.
Joe. You're my only hope.
So Knack is literally a living
And the
puzzle.
result was you. Hey,
And that was the
Someone-
backstory.
Let's go
And
take
that
a
was the
look.
backstory. Hope you enjoyed it.
Someone call Layton. Also, gonna love the fact that supposedly Knack is this being that was clearly made by the ancient civilization, but has no memory of that actually.
It doesn't matter in this game.
It's not even amnesia. It's the fact that it almost as if it was activated for the first time as soon as the doctor picked it up.
You know what's the fun part too?
Hmm.
Don't worry. I'm not spoiling anything by saying this. The second game story ends with Knack leaving with his friend Lucas, trying to find out who he is and what.
You dive bombed.
Trying to find out who he is and what is his place in the world. So apparently we're gonna have to wait until
so-
we're gonna have to
Yep,
wait
the
until
third game.
supposedly Knack free to finally know
It's like when the Ratchet and Clank games teased multiple times that Ratchet was going to search for the Lombaxes, only for that subplot to go completely nowhere.
Except that was more tongue-in-cheek, I'll give it credit.
Oh, and specifically they justified that in saying why he shouldn't even bother doing so.
Well, maybe in like the remake of Ratchet and Clank 2 or something.
No,
Yeah,
Joe, no, Pedro, despite having different elements, the remake is still of the first game in the first trilogy anyway, where elements from the future timeline were not established yet. The real search for the Lombaxes started in the future sub-series when, oh shit, new enemy. What's with this goblin hating bridges?
I don't know.
I thought trolls were the ones who guarded bridges, not goblins.
It's a villain from the X-Men films. These bridges.
Okay, Mark, I know this is your first time writing a story in a game, but you need to try harder than not at all.
There comes a time when you cannot allow
and these ladybugs cannot fly over if being pulled into bottomless pit, so.
Funny you should mention that. Okay, I want you to remember though the ancient technology that Knack comes from. While the origins of it don't get explained, I want you to remember that he is also made of ancient technology because that's really gonna throw a wrench into later plot points for the story. But for now, talking again about Knack's stuff. He's made of this ancient technology that
look at how much that arrow hurt me.
It's it's the fucking heat detection.
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls 2 all over again.
Granted, I'm not the best at using the dodge roll, but still, look at how much that hurt me.
No, by all accounts, the arrow pretty much tracked you. Either tracked you or had a very bad huge heat detection.
Go ahead, Joe.
See, again, here's the problem that contradicts the plot here. If Knack is a magnet, they would have to really have hit his core to actually hurt him, and arrows don't even make sense. The problem is, like, when you think about it, okay, so they knock him out, the pieces should just come back together, but no, instead they kill him. That's the major issue.
Yeah, if I was the one making this game, I would make it pull a Wireland 2 and just have Knack be immortal. Kind of like Wario is immortal, because it does make sense in the plot why Knack would be basically indestructible.
I mean, if you're gonna have him get hurt, then you have to give a reason. The problem is that they don't. I mean, they really don't even try. Like Pedro said, by all instances, Knack should be invincible unless they have some special weapon that neutralizes magnetic waves.
Oh, trust me, Jova, we'll get those eventually.
Eventually, yes, but here, again, it doesn't make sense. I mean, you know, it's sad when even Injustice Gods Among Us gives a reason that the heroes are able to do stuff that Superman could do thanks to those super pills. Yeah, it's obviously a comic book stuff, but they at least explain how everyone can kick butt to that caliber. Here...
Gotta love how I got to that part and the game just gave me enough blocks to get myself bigger and with full life.
Yeah.
Like the game. Okay, this is the part where I want the player to be this big. So here, just give him 3 blocks.
By the way,
again scripted.
By the way, quick time events are in this game. Just letting you know.
Actually, that's in the sequel, not in this one.
It's got them mixed up.
Besides, Jova, as I noticed when Pedro streamed the game for a bit, they're essentially the same as God of War, so it's clear that Cerny and Japan Studio took a cue from Santa Monica.
Let's just say it gets kind of badly done later in the game.
Chapter 2 free, an unexpected encounter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Each of these chapters have sections to them.
It's like, what it's called? Sonic Act Zone.
Yeah, the doctor just
said. Physics.
Yeah, like the doctor just said, this particular terrain is slippery. Here's the thing. This particular terrain never really matters. It's slippery, but the fact that it's slippery doesn't even matter. It's just slippery because there's no place for me to fall into.
And the ice physics momentum is the same identical as Crash 2. Oh god.
Well, same programmer / designer too.
But that ice physics were terrible.
Whereas Crash the Insane Trilogy actually adapted them for the different gameplay, well, you know, slight variations.
Well, remember, Teo, this is supposed to be a throwback to cartoony platformers.
Also, this ambient music is telling me to just watch a battle.
No, the music in this game is pretty much suffers from Rise of Lyric syndrome. It's just bland orchestra that you immediately, I barely even notice it half the time.
It's music that belongs more so in a movie. And even
Don't you see, Drova? The PS4 is for cinematic experiences, so clearly.
And not just any scene in a movie.
Well, if David Cage in the Order 1887 is anything to go by, yes.
86, but yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Wow, fantastic.
By the way, you can get hit by the bombs even after you've beaten the enemy, so watch out for that.
Man, Sonic, man, I remember.
And the battle theme, as much as repetitive as it is, it's more memorable.
See, look, you know, I wouldn't mind music like this if it were maybe in a cutscene or, you know, in a somber scene. But no, this is during us running through a mine in battle scenes, so maybe go for something a bit more energetic.
I will give the rest of the music of these games, I couldn't even hum a single cue if you asked me.
No, like, okay, this one sounds Danny Elfman-ish. But that doesn't belong here. I mean, the only...
Yeah, Jim himself said that in his review of the sequel. Sony, please go back to medieval instead of chasing this clearly dead end.
Just not going the route we did with the Resurrection remake for the...
Oh, medieval actually got a remake?
Call medieval...
Okay, now we're about to see that unexpected...
We'll have to go back the way we came.
Encounter that was... Was all with some robots?
Oh, good.
Wait, you mean to tell me that the...
I would escape all. Fantastic.
Okay, sure. Anyway, guess what, everybody? Believe it or not, there actually is an explanation, aside from him clearly being evil, of why Victor's robots are attacking us all of a sudden.
It is quite possibly one of the dumbest excuses in a video game plot. No, I'm not kidding.
We're about to get it. We're about to get it now, actually. Oh, there's Victor.
Hello there. You come here often?
They thought they were goblins.
I thought I heard noises in here. Is
Very good,
everyone all
Joe.
right?
Your robots attacked us.
Really? They must have thought you were goblins. Terribly sorry. I'll check their programming.
That's right.
Not to worry, Victor.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, Victor's robots suck so much shit that they can't distinguish humans from goblins.
Oh wait, I think Knack's about to crack a snarky pun here.
And no. Wow, you almost had you. Calm down, Knack. You almost had a line with character for a while there. Anyway,
now we have
gone, here's what happened. Here's what happened while you were gone, Pips. Victor's robots attacked us out of the blue. I know what you're gonna ask, Lips. You mean to tell me that the guy who clearly looks evil belongs in a character archetype that is always evil, and has an evil goatee turned out to be evil? Well, here's the interesting thing. We asked him about it, and robots attacked us, and his response, guess what, was, really? They must have thought you were goblins. That's right, Whips. Apparently Victor's robots suck so much shit they can't distinguish humans from goblins.
So,
which means that we now have to fight robots alongside the goblins.
Yeah, that's my question.
Actually, no. That's just me taking revenge, because the robots will not attack you from this point on, but you can destroy them if you want. And
that's what I was about to ask, Pedro. The fact that if the robots and the goblins are in the same room, we will attack each other instead of you.
Yeah.
It's just that the attachments are.
And even if they are in the same room without goblins, they will not attack from this point on, because Victor is, I guess, telling them not to. Because these apparently, and he even said, just to give you an idea, he even said, Whips, I'll check their programming. Here we go. See, now they won't attack us.
Just gonna mention.
How the hell does that programming work?
You know, just
let's just use an obvious joke and save a random Windows B stuff.
You know, I'm just going to point out that in this game that really was hyping up its story to us, how Victor doesn't even acknowledge us beating up his robots. Like, I mean, come on, game, you're trying to be all that in the bag of chips.
They're expendable, so I guess he doesn't really care.
No. I mean, what I mean is like, well, look, there's no reaction from Victor for us beating up his robots.
Wow! Holy fucking shit!
So yeah, everybody, here's another problem. Victor's robots suck shit.
They can't even hit the goblins.
Unless we're fighting you, we have a terrible AI.
Brilliant.
Now he's gone.
Yeah, but it took so long and he got damaged in the process.
There you go, bye.
That's what you get.
That's what you get for being lazy. Death.
Jesus.
Alright, we're almost done with chapter 2. Oh look, more relics.
Alright.
Oh, our convenience, ahoy.
You failed me.
No, I mean, seriously, almost every time, whenever they start handing out the relics like candy, you can tell that there's a cutscene coming up.
Yeah. So let's see if this guy does any better.
No.
Oh man. And I got a Goblin Hunter trophy for defeating, I think it's like 200 goblins or something like that.
You know, just for the record, those goblins were medium-sized mooks wielding wooden clubs at best.
Yeah, the robot was way bigger than them.
Cool, Lysis, woo, whatever.
I'm tempted to...
It doesn't even look like ice, it's like diamond jelly.
The game calls it slippery floor. That's it. It's just slippery. Roll with it.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Alright, I think it's the end now. Well, not yet actually. We still have to... Yeah, let's... Alright, I'm sure this one will do better.
Whoa, I think he actually hit one.
Nope, the goblins killed the fucking robot. What was that again you were saying, Victor, about Knack being incredibly delicate?
Wow, did you see that?
Your robot doesn't look any better than me. Just saying.
So...
Why humanity hasn't still lost against the goblins?
That's actually explained, and it may or may not piss you off.
You know what's sad too?
Let me guess, we're even more stupid than we are.
Not just that, Whips.
That's what I want to ask. Considering how fragile the robots are and the goblins seem to be strong against them, how do you got here?
That's it. We found the
wow, this is sloppy. I mean, you know, normally I wouldn't critique games.
Trust me, this is happens.
Teleportation.
Oh, trust me, Theo. This happens all the time in both games. You will go through all these hard platforming challenges, and the human characters that are accompanying will just mysteriously appear at the end.
You know, for as goofy as it is, Crash Insanity actually literally has Cortex warping ahead of you. It's goofy, but that's more of an explanation than this game gives.
And why you're going back the way we came?
No, the reason you start off working together into insanity is because you kept fighting each other down a long tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even. But anyway, too. It's not even just that too. It's gonna become apparent later on. But the sad part about this game is that pretty much almost all the humans aside from Ryder and Lucas are complete assholes.
Of course, it's like the Federation in the Metroid franchise.
And it makes you want to sympathize with the goblins, but then all of a sudden the game pulls out the Crystal Wars lore to try to justify why you should root for the humans instead of the goblins, even though the goblins are more sympathetic.
Also, Tio, just gonna say the humans in this game will make you plead for the Federation force.
Especially Dr. Vargas, our scientist creator. Dr. Vargas is a fucking asshole, as you'll see over the course of these 2 games.
But then there's that other character who we have not yet met who really pisses me off.
Oh great, another excuse to make Knack useless.
Only this time he's basically in base form.
Goody, now we're back to a Knack that can't even talk.
Brilliant.
The Goblin village is across this lake and up that cliff.
Why couldn't we have
Almost
just
there.
flown over to the Goblin village?
Almost
Because then we wouldn't have a level, Joel.
Ah,
Alright, everybody.
peaceful and relaxing.
Yeah, see you for the next one, everybody.
See ya.
Yes.